Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein Files.
Whispers around D.C. are growing louder, and baby, the tea is scalding. Donald Trump, once the self-declared truth-teller-in-chief, is now dancing around the one thing he swore he'd expose, the Epstein Files. He promised a reveal during his campaign, a total drop, everything out in the open. But since returning to power, radio silence. Insiders say Attorney General Pam Bondi briefed him, yes, briefed him, that his name appears in those very files. And let's not ignore the bomb Elon Musk tossed on X. Trump is in the files. Musk said it, deleted it, and then backed off. But guess what? The internet hasn't. And now the mystery's no longer a whisper. It's a thunderclap.
We've known about this for a long time, and he's skated, right?
Oh, how far we've come. Remember the campaign trail promises? Donald Trump wasn't just running for president, he was auditioning as America's chief exposer-in-chief, and nothing got the base fired up like the Epstein Files. In 2024, he stood on that political soapbox and declared, if re-elected, he'd release them all. No more secrets, no more sealed lists. The crowd ate it up like concession stand popcorn. It was classic Trump, bold, theatrical, slightly menacing. He positioned himself as the one man who wouldn't protect the elite, the man who'd lift the curtain. But fast forward to now, and that curtain is still down. Nothing new has been released since his victory. The truth bomb still ticking, or maybe already diffused. Let's get into it, because behind the curtain, things are shifting. Pam Bondi, now the Attorney General, told Trump that yes, he's mentioned in the Epstein Files. Not criminally, we're not saying that, but repeatedly. That's not rumor, that's according to the Wall Street Journal. And while the Justice Department is trying to keep those documents sealed, citing victim protection and no actual client list, Trump's on Truth Social spinning. He's calling the Epstein scandal a Democrat scam and demanding the release of grand jury testimony, subject to court approval, of course. But here's the kicker. A Florida judge just denied that request. So now we're stuck in this weird purgatory where Trump keeps calling attention to it while the courts are slamming the door. You don't stoke a fire like that unless you're trying to distract or misdirect.
He doesn't have that juice anymore. And I think that just like we saw that Joe Biden wasn't the Joe Biden we saw in those debates, nor is Donald Trump any longer. And the people around him are just trying to keep this above water right now.
Democrats broke the law during the election, and people like Beyonce need to be arrested and prosecuted.
Now let's talk brand erosion, shall we? Trump, once the king of chaos marketing, is now playing defense. His recent posts have been nothing short of deranged performance art. At one point, he even accused Beyonce of being part of some election law-breaking cabal. Beyonce! As one commentator put it, it's like he's throwing darts blindfolded, just hoping something sticks. He's also tried the Obama treason angle again, but the energy not giving what it used to give. Even his own base seems unimpressed. The internet shrugging. Remember when Trump dominated every narrative? Now he's the one chasing them. As one analyst said, he doesn't have that juice anymore. And that was said with love, the kind of love you reserve for watching a retired pro box someone 10 years younger. Now enter the billionaire divorce. Elon and Trump, remember that? The love fest has officially gone cold. Musk's now infamous tweet claimed Trump was hiding because he was in the Epstein Files. Then he deleted it. Tech bros panicked. The all-in bros, you know the ones, scrambled to repair the bromance. Thirsty posts, copium, he didn't mean it, vibes all over X. But there's no reunion yet, and why would there be? GOP strategists are now trying to woo the tech elite, asking them to throw money at candidates like Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance. Peter Thiel's PAC has already gotten his check, but will they keep backing this version of Trump, the one caught in the Epstein web, yelling at clouds? Because right now, there are cracks showing, and some of them look permanent. Long silence on his former friendship with Giuffre Epstein. And what's his version of events? Buckle up. Trump claims he banned Epstein because Epstein hired help from him. Yes, you heard that right. Hired someone who worked for Trump. And Trump says he warned him, don't ever do that again. But Epstein did. And that, according to Trump, is what ended everything. But who was this help? And why is Trump saying this now? It wasn't always so icy. Rewind a few years, or let's be real, decades, and Trump and Epstein were cozy. Best friends, according to people who knew them then. Yes, those are the words, best friends. They were seen together, partied together, laughed in the same rooms. The golden age of Mar-a-Lago power schmoozing. There was no bad blood, at least not publicly. Until suddenly, there was.
The only person that we know of that
Exactly.
Epstein hired who worked for Trump was a 16-year-old girl.
And that brings us to the story Trump wants out there now. According to him, the falling out happened because Epstein crossed the line by hiring someone who worked at Trump's property. He says, don't ever do that again. Epstein did. Trump threw him out, called him persona non grata. End of bromance. Now here's where it gets messy. The only person we know Epstein hired from Mar-a-Lago was Virginia Roberts, later known as Virginia Giuffre, a 16-year-old who, as the record shows, was later trafficked by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Tara Palmieri spells that out in the transcript. The only person that we know of that Epstein hired who worked for Trump was a 16-year-old girl. Let that sink in.
The president's new explanation of his falling out with Epstein, which he really has not wanted to talk about, right? He said, oh, the reason doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about it. Now he's coming out with this that it was about hiring people who worked for him.
So Trump finally talks, but when he does, it's evasive. In one breath, it doesn't matter why we fell out. In the next, he absolutely wants us to know it was over this mysterious staffer incident. And when that narrative doesn't quite land, Trump pivots hard. Now it's a hoax, a political hit job, a drawing he didn't make featured in Epstein's infamous 50th birthday book. I don't do drawings, he says. I'm not a drawing person. Okay, then he's blaming the Biden administration. Yes, really, and James Comey. Somehow, in Trump logic, Comey and Biden are behind the Epstein Files. Here's a fact to hold on to. Epstein was arrested while Trump was president. Let that marinate while we watch Trump try to rewrite the history books with a Sharpie.
He said something new. He said, well, you know, any name in there could be a hoax.
And just when you think the plot can't twist any harder, enter Ghislaine Maxwell, currently serving 20 years for her role in Epstein's trafficking ring. Her attorney publicly asking Trump for a pardon. And Trump not exactly slamming the door shut. He says, and I quote, right now it would be inappropriate to talk about it. Not never, just not right now. Meanwhile, Maxwell's pushing for an appeal to the Supreme Court, and we learn about private meetings with the DOJ, boxes of unknown material, and yes, drones capturing footage of it all. Senator Dick Durbin is demanding answers from the Justice Department, specifically whether a pardon deal is being floated, because if you listen closely, Trump's language is laying the groundwork for something.
They're 40-year-olds. They're not young royals.
Well, and
they're different now. The vibe is different.
Faster around Montecito say the mood has shifted. The smiles, Instagram perfect, but stiff. The hand-holding, more PR synergy than soulmates. Insiders say Harry and Meghan feel it too. Spotify dumped archetypes, their Netflix deal is stalling, and Invictus buzz just isn't breaking through. Then came the pivot. Meghan signs with Hollywood mega agent Ari Emuel, solo photo ops ramp up, and Harry's suddenly popping up at UK events, alone. Oh, and those bedtime diary entries to Archie and Lily? Let's be real, it's not for scrapbooking, it's content in waiting. Something's off, and baby, this isn't rebranding, it's survival mode. Rewind, if you will, to 2018. The world was enchanted. A ginger prince marries the dazzling American actress. Cue the carriage, the tiara, the gospel choir. Diana's son found his fairy tale ending. They were modern royalty, woke, warm, and winning hearts from Westminster to WeHo. Vogue covers, Oprah interviews, a 100 million Netflix deal. The Sussexes were going to save the monarchy or burn it down trying. And now, they're struggling to save face.
They are practically limping over the finish line, waiting for this contract to expire. Megflix, as of September, will be no more. Whilst they will keep Meghan on their books, I think that's more to do with that they are just waiting tick-tock for the divorce announcement.
But behind the castle gates, or rather the wrought iron of their Montecito mansion, things weren't quite so glossy. Remember that media blitz, the spiritual healing retreats, the very public private jet trips? Sources say the couple was battling burnout, disagreement over strategy, and a little thing called narrative fatigue. Meghan's inner circle allegedly pushed for A-list visibility, think Oscars, fashion lines, lifestyle empires. Harry? Word is he wanted relevance, legacy, a version of Invictus, but make it viral. Let's just say dueling diaries, folks, and the pens were sharp.
Harry did have fears that he might, become irrelevant into his 50s, and, they're making a huge noise at the moment.
Then came the flops. Spotify axed. Meghan's Archetypes podcast fizzled out faster than a Buckingham balcony wave. One Spotify exec even called them grifters, not behind closed doors, but in an actual interview. Subtle. Their Netflix docuseries pulled in the clicks, but not the credibility. Critics labeled it grievance TV, and even the fans got fatigue. It was more eye rolls than Emmy buzz. And that $100 million deal? Let's just say Netflix seems more interested in actual content creators now.
He then sold a story on the Queen the next day. He appeared on the Today Show talking to Hoda rather than about the Invictus Games, about his grandmother, telling the world that the Queen was not being looked after properly. She had people around her and it was only Harry that she would listen to that could protect her.
Meanwhile, the public moved on. Swifties were in their billionaire era, Barbie was running the world, and the Sussexes were bottling jam. That's right, Meghan's big comeback? Homegrown strawberry preserves with branding so tightly controlled, it reportedly comes with a non-disclosure agreement. We've gone from royal wave to royal marmalade. Children's books, chicken coops, podcast ghosts? This isn't a brand. It's a Pinterest board with a panic attack. And Harry? He's showing up solo, looking less like a prince and more like your recently divorced cousin trying out CrossFit. The hairline's on a farewell tour, and let's be honest, the only thing receding faster is the bank account. Private jets, Montecito security, and a mortgage that screams, please keep streaming, all while the deals dry up and the goodwill runs out. Once upon a time, they were Sussex Royal. Now, just H&M, high drama, low ROI. The crown was heavy, but irrelevance? That's crushing.
She's writing a diary entry every night to Archie and Lilibet. I wonder what that's for, the diary of Archie and Lilibet. I don't know, it's a nice book. But they know that those two will be, and they've got all their branding around that, they will be something that they will be able to monetize.
So, what's a decrowned Duchess to do? Reinvent, darling. Cue the glam squad. Meghan's suddenly doing solo appearances again. Heels higher, brows snatched, talking points tighter. Rumors swirl of private meetings with LA producers and a possible return to the screen. A cameo in Suits the Next Gen? Don't rule it out. And Harry? He's been sniffing around London, flashing smiles, whispering reconciliation to palace insiders. Not for love, oh no, for legacy, for leverage, for inheritance. They're not folding, they're repositioning. And in Hollywood, that's not survival, it's sport.
Like, we're dealing with what, they're not apart, but, we're dealing with an Andy and Fergie post-separation.
Now here's the real royal scandal, cash. The $14 million Montecito mansion doesn't clean itself. Private security? That's not cheap when you're suing tabloids and dodging drones. PR firms, legal retainers, nanny salaries, and let's not even start on wardrobe budgets fit for a duchess who doesn't duchess. And with no new mega deals on the books and old ones fizzling out, the pressure is real. This isn't palace protocol, it's West Coast capitalism, and baby, it bites.